'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've travelled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour,
Mudgeeraba. No, it's hard. It is hard. Mudgeeraba.
Gold Coast.
I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, indeed. We've spent more time on the Gold Coast today than we've spent it ever, I would have said. But, Rob, who have we got on the line?
We have got a former Geelong resident, and I will declare a very dear friend of mine.
That's it. Thanks, everyone, for being with us.
Locally, people who are into the footy scene would remember this little man playing football at St Mary's, at Forest, and at Belpost Hill. His name is Stephen Brown, and he is at Mudgeeraba. Stephen, good morning and welcome. Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
There he is.
How's everything going?
Very good. Lovely to have you on the show. I know that you are an avid listener, and we do appreciate that. You often fire back some commentary on what's happening on the Two Blokes Chatting radio show, now very much part of it. This is a regional roundup. It's a discussion about where the hell are you. So that's where we always start. Where the hell is Mudgeeraba?
Well, it sounds like an exotic plane stuck out in the middle of nowhere, Snick, but it's actually only 15 or 20 minutes from the Gold Coast Airport, heading towards Brisbane. It's a suburb inland from where I used to reside in Currumbin.
So are you in the hinterland? Is that what they call that?
Well, at the foot of the hinterland, yeah. You start going up towards Mount Tambourine and that from our spot.
So if you lived up the hill, you'd be, hey, Mr. Mount Tambourine Man.
Well, I have been there, Neil.
And that song, as you would have heard if you heard the start of the show, was released on this day in 1965, just a lazy 60 years ago to make us all feel really old.
And a beautiful song it was too. Wow. Hey, Steve, you've lived on the Gold Coast at Currumbin. I've been in your house there, and you're close to the water, and it was all good and luscious, and very much part of an Australian tourist mecca. What was the reason to go inland, and is it better?
I still have a pangs for the old suburb, Nick, as you do when you've lived there for 30 years, like we did. But no, it's just a downsize, really, mate, and get ourselves a flat level house. The house we had was 3 levels, sort of thing, and yeah.
Apparently it was going to be 4 levels, but that's another story.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And then it was going to be 5th, but that's another level completely.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen, recently Alfred visited you up there. From what you now know, were you better off where you were now or where you were before?
Probably better off here, Mick. I think the closer to the water you were, the more buffeting you got from the wind and stuff. And I know down on the beachfronts there, they copped it pretty bad. The Viking Surf Club, the Currumbin Surf Club, they lost all their car park, and luckily the building didn't go out to sea, but nearly everything else around it did. So up here, it was mainly like how close you were with trees around you and that sort of thing, you know. So we're probably in a safer spot here than we were there, you know.
And is life back to whatever normal is after a cyclone? Like, all the shops are open, all the roads are open, all that sort of stuff. Is that back to normal?
Yes, Neil. Yeah, it took a while, especially people that were living in you were talking about the hinterland before. Those sort of areas where there's a lot of trees and a lot of acreage. Trees fell across roads and a few onto houses and that sort of thing. So it's taken a while to, I guess, for those people that were unfortunate enough to have property damage and that to probably get organised. But it'll probably take the council up here 12 months to try and get things back to the resemblance of how they were with the beaches and also with trees down and that sort of thing. They tend to just sit there if they're not causing any danger until the council can get around to getting rid of them. You know.
Now, Steve, you mentioned the car park disappearing at the surf club. Were you talking about the ocean actually washed that away? So clearly that wouldn't have been rebuilt. Has there been a lot of that structural damage along the actual coastline?
Yes, Rob. Yeah, it's been pretty bad for the beaches, the erosion, and there's a lot of boundaries from the beach to the to the streets and that sort of damage, fencing, and a couple of life-saving towers. Those towers they have, or those stands they have along the beach, Rob, a couple of them have been either knocked over or whatever. So yeah, it's going to take, as I say, probably, I think the council is saying 12 months. And they've got to have sand barges come in and sort of get the sand back onto the beaches through the sand barges. So yeah, it's going to take a while.
And we hear of various types of natural disaster, flood, fire, cyclones, whatever, and soon afterwards, things are a bit tricky for tourism and so on. Obviously, the Gold Coast is absolutely dependent upon tourism. It's school holidays in Victoria. Is there a bit of a crowd turning up there this week, or is it noticeably quieter this time round?
I think it's probably fair to say it's probably a little bit down on what it would have been, Neil, with what's happened. But they're putting on special deals and that sort of thing to get people to come up still. I think New South Wales schools are about to start their holidays next week, so they always try and focus on the Sydney and to some extent the Melbourne market to come up. And say some of the beaches are reopened, so they try and sort of focus on the positive, but it probably won't be their best season this year.
Now, Stephen, there's a question Neil wanted me to ask you. How did you get your nickname Brownie?
Oh, it's I've had that for a while.
Because I think there's a bloke who played with footy up in your state, Jonathan, who also gets called Brownie. And I just was wondering, it's quite creative.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's been well thought out, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of footy up there, at the moment, I'm talking AFL football, Rob. I'm talking about the AFL. I'm not talking about Australian rules football.
That competition that plays Australian rules football.
There's two of the top three teams, up before the start of last night's round, because Collingwood obviously won last night and moved up. Two out of the top three are Queensland-based teams. Are you seeing, given that you've got obviously a footy background and interest in footy, are you seeing a bit of growth in the game up there and the acceptance of it as being a far better game than rugby league?
Well, yeah, Neil. Obviously, Brisbane winning it last year is a big look for the competition or for the market up here. But the Suns. Yeah, I see. I live in an area where there's a lot of parkland here for junior sport, and I see the Little Suns juniors out doing a training session once a week. Their kids probably look about under 9s.
Okay, so that's the age to get him, isn't it? I was surprised. I didn't realise Brisbane had won the premiership last year. Steve, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, last time I spoke to Robert on the air, Neil, was grand final day 2022, which was...
oh, okay.
And then I thought I might try that all again, and it was nearly as good last year.
No, it's. I was in India at the time, sadly. So, as people have no doubt heard a million times on this program, so we'll just have to win it again this year because, as you know, Brisbane only win them in threes.
Yeah, that's right. If you hadn't beaten Collingwood that other year, you'd be going for 3 now. So
yeah, we don't mention the Zach Bailey trip. We don't mention that at all. Right? We'll just sail past that and let the Collingwood supporters have their moment in the sun.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
But the game up here, Neil, I think is it's got a very good foothold on the coast now. I think, and with the Suns hopefully having a bit of success this year, I went and seen them beat Adelaide last week, and it was an excellent game. And so they look like they might make finals.
Been said before. Steve, we've got to get going, sadly, because Tom and Shoddy are sitting in next door and they're waving their fists at us saying, hurry up and shut up and stop doing what you're doing. Thanks for being part of Regional Roundup. You've been part of the show in the background for a long time, and here you are now part of the team.
Yeah, always a pleasure, boys, and keep up the good work. I'm an avid listener and enjoy what I hear.
Excellent. Thanks for saying that on the wireless. I hope Leo was listening. There he is, Steve Brown up
Thanks,
there. Mudgeeraba.
Flash. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, mate.